Okay, I am alive somehow. My lord, it's good to be back. So, okay, I think everything's working. Well, let's hope so. So let's get into things. So basically, what I went over, you know, I was in holiday for the past 2 weeks, so working on this was a bit of an effort, and I tried my best to get as much stuff done as possible, but there was just way too many things wrong with, well, the language, let's just say. And today should be the final day of fixing stupid bugs. So the last bug I have to do today is something to do with the type system. Anybody watching, you can just say hi and I'll explain the type system, but essentially it's kind of similar to any type system, except it uses something called question marks for optional types, just like languages like JavaScript or TypeScript. I think TypeScript has it. And then references do also exist, but they don't do anything as of now. So let's get into the things. So the error that I want to fix today, just at least, is, as you can see, this method here is it takes in a generic type, and the first type is an optional of that type, and the second type is an array of that type. So what I pass into the first one, if I want to, infer the types, testing of n, if I want to pass in n, then we're going to assign t, and then when I pass in iArray, it will have to conform with that t. So right here, n should be set to be, as you can see when we pass in n, it's an int array. And then, so therefore this t becomes int array question mark, which is what n is. So that's good. Perfect. So then this also becomes int array array. And that's not an int array array. So there should be an error. But when I run this, sorry, give me a second. Hello? Command prompt? What the fuck's going on? There we go. So you can see evaluated type. So the type that was evaluated in the parameter was an int array, which is what it is. Couldn't convert to the expected type of int. So that should be an int array array. And there's something wrong here, technically. So what this is saying is I could actually just pass in a 4 here. Evaluate type constant of constant false. Cannot be converted to type of int literal. What? Okay, that's another problem, I guess. Let's evaluated type of constant. Okay, I think I need to get rid of this false here. Let's get rid of that and that's, dude. Oh shit. Whoa. Cancel. Just make. Thank you. 1 second. I'll just put down my curtains. Ugh. Anybody who's watching, by the way, you can say hi, and I can give you some more explanations as to what's going on if you're new here. Otherwise, you can sit back and enjoy my suffering. So, okay, so that should fix that error, and we should get the 2 types that comes out. Let's see. So this happens when CMake decides to not work, and I have to delete the entire build folder. I don't know why. Resource busy. What do you mean resource busy? Get rid of the folder. How the hell is it busy? Just delete all this then. Run it again. So it's gonna have to reconfigure everything. I don't know why CMake does this. It says, oh, undefined, 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 undefined. Like, you know. Huh? Oh shit, was I not supposed to delete that? Cannot find source file source/parser. What the fuck did I do? I deleted parser? Oh my god. Restore file. Why did I do that? That file is literally the biggest in the entire... Oh my god. It's 2,000 lines long, and I just deleted it. Thank God for Git. Jesus Christ. Okay. Alright. I was just editing that. Is that why... Did I hold down the control key when I did that? Okay. I see. I see. Yo, Sebastian. It's been way too long. I'm alive. Somehow I'm still alive. How you been, man? Okay, CMake, you're taking your time. My god. So what I'm doing right now is I have one last error to fix with the type system, and from there I have a lot of things planned for this week, which should be really nice and help me finally have fun making this language. These last few features are the big features, you know. Why did it take this long? My computer is so slow at building this. Is this not running in parallel? Am I... Because like my laptop does this 4 times faster, you know? Evaluated type of constant fault. I just fixed that. I just got rid of that, for God's sake. Okay, I swear to God. I'm alright, making a video game with friends. Yeah, I know, man. Work is fucking shithole. Hey, video game is cool. What's it like? 2D? AAA? Explain to me. I'm intrigued. No, okay. I actually genuinely hate CMake. I actually genuinely hate... What the hell is going on? How do I break CMake? Every single function has an undefined reference, and the only way to fix it is to delete the entire build folder and compile again. What the fuck? Well, yeah, if someone came to the stream and told me I should be using CMake, I was like, yeah, and it's just failing. 2.5 dimension base builder. Oh, so you mean like isometric? Is that what it means by 2.5D? Just have one make file that copy paste. Well, that's what I have as well, but the build folder is not copying over shit, and like I don't understand what's going on. Here's my CMake if you want to take a look. Like, just make sure we have C++20. If we're using Visual Studio Code, we can, or Visual Studio, we can use a different depth flag, you know. We're gonna add our library, add our other library. It's nothing big. It's pretty much just 3D with camera at fixed angle. I see. That's interesting. You've been doing it for a while? So you're playing on a 2D plane, but with 3D objects. Ah, okay, so it's the illusion of 3D, kind of, is it? I see. See, now it works. Like, there's nothing wrong with my fucking code. Can I run this, please? Evaluated type of constant int literal cannot convert to expected type of generic. Okay, so the unknown keyword here is just generic. It's a generic type. We want to finish it by the end of summer. Ooh, you gonna release it on Steam or what's the plan? Man, I'm jealous. Wish I had friends to make a game with. My God. None of my friends like doing that shit. Okay, so this is the correct error. We're trying to pass an int to a generic array. But as soon as we pass in iArray, which is an int array, it should work. But you see, the constant int array cannot be converted to type of int, and then if I access it at index 0, do I not save it? Oh, is that a seg fault? Yay. 10 of us in total, but only actually a few coders. Oh, so you have like design. Oh, that's actually badass. You got everybody on the spectrum. You got artists, you got... Damn. You have a name for it? Oh my God. So this seg fault should not be happening. Man, these bots are crazy. And I'm not even logged in on my Twitch right now, so I can't just like remove the fucking thing. Why does it do that? It opens a chat for me in Streamlabs, but it doesn't give me privileges. It's like the dumbest thing ever. Damn stray robot emoji. Okay, so I'm getting a seg. This seg file happens in this giant ass macro, and it only happens if the stack frame that the variable belongs to, well, it was never given one. In other words, it was never created, or it's being referenced after its stack frame was destroyed. And that can't happen. What? This code is kind of weird because I actually use something called a shared wrapper, which is literally just a way of a shared pointer that holds an object to our actual object, so that when that actual object is changed, all the other pointers pointing to that object can also see the change. So I use something that like that, and it's, you know, it's a little bit of a unorthodox solution, but it works, and it still gives me seg faults sometimes. Look, I don't understand. iArray of 0. There should not be a seg fault here. Honestly. I'm just trying to think, like, what the hell is the problem here? But the big problem is this. You know, if I run this again... Yes. God's sake. Valgrind? No, I know the seg fault. Like, I get it every other day, but the seg fault is nothing to do with my code. It's actually to do with... Well, it is to do with my code, but it's not to do with something I don't understand. Like, I know why it's happening, and it's happening because of some bad code elsewhere. It's not because... Hell, I actually forgot how to explain things. Okay, so if I run this, it gives me this error that I really hate because I have no idea how this works. I want to just do the same thing, right? So I want to just make a non-generic testing2 with an I1 of int optional and an I2 of int optional array. Okay? And I want to call testing2. Okay, so I actually get the same seg faults. I just want to work on a new feature, and I keep getting seg faults. Oh, that is a horrible, horrible seg fault. Okay, so you're telling me, right? Get this, Sebastian. You're telling me I just called a non-generic function, and it's in this if statement that is checking for if the current token is is this. What the fuck? (936). Oh no, 936 down here. Oh. I see. Okay, that actually might be the problem with everything currently. Obviously, if the function isn't generic... What is that emoji? Forehead. So obviously, if the function isn't generic, that's a seg fault. So... and where do I need this? I need it down here. Okay. So I'll just have to say if the function's generics exists. Okay. So that needs to be wrapped in that. And then up here, same thing, but obviously function generics can do that, else just do 0 because we don't really care. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a bool called has function has generics is equal to function generics, and I'm just going to replace this everywhere I see function generics in a Boolean context. What's the problem here? Oh, for God's sake, I have to make it explicit? Really? It's an explicit operator? That's some stupid, stupid stuff. Okay, so let's replace it here. Yeah, so everywhere it's in a Boolean context, I can just replace. That's good enough. I couldn't be... to be honest, I'm pretty lazy, so I'm not going to go replace the rest of that shit. Okay, so CMake's gonna crash, and I'm gonna snap my monitor in half. Why does it do that? It better not. Actually, I do not want it to do that. What's strange to me is... Actually, never mind. Never mind. So, yeah, no, that's just because I'm calling it. Obviously, the function call here will exhibit that error, will you know, do that. But down here I wrote a completely non-generic function, and it's still, it was like I was like, oh, it's okay, it's fine. That's because I didn't call it. So, but yeah, actually, since I've been away, Sebastian, I've also worked on the inbuilt library, if I see, like, I'm actually trying to talk, but I'm staring at this terminal. If I see undefined references, thank the Lord. Okay, I'll check that in a second. I've also been working on the inbuilt library, which I think looks quite nice. If I get it on the big screen here. So you can see I've kind of commented the entire thing, and there's loads of functions, right? So now that I've, I got some hate from a few people because they were like, why are you adding generics? You should be working on other like features of the language. This is the best feature for me to implement because as you can see, because it's a strongly typed language, everything needs to have a type, and I don't have an any keyword. I've removed that completely. So I need generics in order to simulate the passing of any type, of course. Like, that's why generics exist. So here you can see the array module. We have an array at. This will be used for, like, there is functionality. If I write the function at, you can return, if I have __l, I can do that. I can return __l of 0, and that's going to get the first element in L. You can use constant expressions, but you can't use variables, and that's because of the way Minecraft works. So the next feature I want to implement after these errors are fixed is macros, and that's how they work in Minecraft. The same syntax I might follow, or I might go for something completely different. But this is the entire implementation of at. I don't even need to mark it as extern, but I'm going to get to it in a second. Basically, it allows you to index at a specific at a variable's value. So it's useful, right? And adding to list, removing to list, resizing. So there's going to be a lot of libraries. Honestly, if I don't know, if you have time, or if you ever wanted to contribute to the inbuilt library, you can through probably a git pull request. But they're not implemented, so they do nothing currently. So the way Minecraft works is everything needs to be pre-compiled. So let's go take a look at, let's go back to generics here, and let me just write a list, right? So this is my list. Increase it so you can see it here. So if I have a list, let's say it's an int array, and I'll equal it to 1, 3, 4, and 7, right? If I wanted to message to the person who ran the command, how do you work around that? Yeah, so this is the workaround. So macros are quite slow, but let me just explain it here. So at or here, if I do x of 0, that's fine, because what it'll convert to is, basically just print to at or array 0. So that 0 is constant, but Minecraft does not allow you to do print to at or array of some value in storage, because everything is a command. So it's not that complex. So in order to combat that, in recent versions, they've added macros. And what I can do is, obviously some people will be trying to use Redscript in previous versions without macros. So that's why this is a separate feature. And you'll have to explicitly say that. So what you can do is you can message at or, and I can do x at the index of, and just pass in the macro operator, or however. I'm going to define the syntax before I leave today. The macro operator being a variable, or it could be, I don't know. I don't know if it'll allow expressions. I think it'll allow expressions. We can compute that, and the macro will be fine getting it, I think. But the way I'll combat it is quite strange. And when I said on Discord, I said, there's a big problem with functions. I said I'd fix it. Well, what functions do now is they actually operate under stack frames. So every function has a stack frame with their variables, their parameters, and possibly registers, right? But the registers don't overlap as of right now, so it's fine to use because they're kind of, they're done in compile time. So I hope they won't break. And obviously for this to work, the function, like for this will be a tell raw command, and it'll be tell raw person who ran the command, and then you'll do something like data is red script program variables, and then the index of x in the variables array. So we have that at compile time, obviously. And then we do dot value to get the value, not the type, or, you know, there might be other things associated with that variable. And then that's the value is a JSON list. So we access that. And what we need to do in here is we can actually do the macro operator, which is supported. But what we have to do at the start of the command is add $, to simulate it's a macro command. Now the problem with this is every time you run the command, it needs to be compiled again and again and again and again. So it's quite strange, right? And when I run the command, let's say this is the functionality for something called a print at function, right? And it'll take in some X. That's the function we're working with. Well, you need to, in Minecraft, you need to do the function command to call print at. And then if it's a macro, I believe, don't quote me on this, you need to, obviously, I'll call this like P0. Obviously, I need to do with, the with keyword, and I can do storage red script program. So I can pass the entire storage of the program, or just, you know, stacks, or whatever it's called. I don't know what it's called, stack frames, and get its current stack frame. And then I can access P0 from there. So that's kind of how it's going to work. And I'm really excited to work on this because it actually allows quite dynamic programming in this, because before, all of this is very constant, you know. All the features I'm adding are quite, you know, they get compiled away. They're not doing much. But this one is going to be very powerful for a lot of stuff. But it's also very ill-performant and hard to use and weird, so I'm going to use wrapper functions and libraries to help people, you know, mimic the functionality they want with the feature and not have to use the ugly feature. Does that make sense? Kind of a little bit. Anyway, let's take a look at this bug and see if it works. What's going on here? That is true. Sorry, so this should be an int array question mark, and this should be an int array array. Evaluated type of int array cannot convert to expected type of int array array. Perfect. But this will compile here if I wrap it in an array, I think. Function with no generics cannot be called with template arguments. Huh? What in God's green earth? Okay, so it's in parse generics. And if we don't have generics, we call that error. That's weird. Well, if we have generics, we'll call parse generics. Where else do we call parse generics? Down here. If we haven't provided the generic... Okay, so if the function has generics. So I just had to implement... Okay, so that's fine. Let's go back to our file. And bring it up here. And go back to parser. Okay. So... So that error will be fine. Let's take a look again. So that error is perfect. You see, because of what I've passed in on this T is, well, it's been inferred to be an int array. That's what we're passing in, right? So T optional is an int array. So the T is int array. So then this should be an int array array. But when I call, and this works fine, when I call testing2, it gives me the error saying, of course, I array is an int array, and we're not, it doesn't match int array array, does it? So let's call testing, which is generic, And the problem we get is that the iArray is an int array and it can't be converted to an int. Now, obviously, if I specify this, this would be fine. So we get the perfect error. So it's obviously with the... I think this might be to do with... I think this error is okay. Let me... So it's calling here because the variable's type info. So I'm going to break at 449 for a second. Okay, so let's print t. So the type info t is a optional generic, that's all it is, right? And then so this is, we're talking about t question mark here. And then if I print the type info of the variable, as you can see, it's an integer. With one dimension, not generic. And the first, yeah, so it's finally optional. Okay, fine. So let's continue. That should work fine. Print t. Here we have array count of 1, and it is generic. Okay, perfect. And then array count of 1, type ID of 1 isn't generic. So let's go next. Okay, so it didn't even... But if I continue here, we're gonna get the error, no? Oh. I'm a bit confused. Okay, what about now? We have an int. Oh, are we working up here? Okay, we're doing this function up here. Okay, never mind. No, we're not. So you can see it was an int. Okay, oh, for fuck's sake. Run. 1, 2. Okay, so we're trying to make sure an int is convertible to an int array. So the variable is an int array, but we passed in an int. Okay, let me go to the call stack here. So this is obviously so here what the problem might be here, because if we didn't provide our generic types in the function call, we get the final type, which is going to be, sorry, we assign the type inferred type from the result. And then obviously final type becomes an int here. Okay, so let's break at parser 1024. An example, let's run again. So tinfo is a int array. No, it's a, sorry, generic array. Okay. And you can see we type infer here. I would like to step into that. Okay, so let's skip forward. So next, let's print the final type. It is a... It's an int with no array count. Okay, something's wrong. We go back to run it, and we start at the first break here. So this we're talking about the first parameter of testing here. So the final type should not be assigned at all. As you can see, it's just created. It's just been allocated. Then if I want to print type infer result. Type infer result is an int array, and then we assign it saying it's not explicit. Saying it's not explicit. So I'm saying here, if it's not explicit and the array count is greater than 0, then we just set it to be the element type of the thing passed in. Does that make sense, Sebastian? You need to help me, bro. This is implicit type inferring, and it just sets it to be the element type, but I don't want that. Should it be if the array count of the assigned type is greater than our array count? So if I have int converted to, and we want to assign the type of int array with explicit equals false. So implicit. Yeah, so imagine this, generic, an int array, this generic, if the array counts are equal, then it should be the element type. If it's implicit, of course, that's the element type. What if this is greater than? Okay, so if they're equal, you can do that. If this one's greater, we try to assign the type of int array. I think that's an error. No, it's not. No, it's not. And what if it's... That's fine. This code will handle that. And what if it's less than? It's just T. Okay. I think that just fixes the entire bug. I might be a genius, Sebastian. I think. Possibly could be. All right, let's see. Hey, it worked. Wait, it worked? It's not supposed to work. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Why did it work? Nope, didn't work. Fuck's sake. I don't think I'm a genius. If I go down to type info. Um. Okay, let's say we are a T array and we're assigning int array. Then T becomes sorry. So what we have right now is the T assign int array. So then T becomes int array. And then we do T assign T array assign int array. So then T array is an int array, therefore error. Final type to type ID is -1. You know what? I'm so sick of this shit. ChatGPT is getting abused again. Oh, I fucking hate this type system. I don't like it. Okay, so I'm genuinely like so fried because I spent like a week working on this I spent like a week working on this type system and it just doesn't work the way I want it to, and apparently GPT says I need to preserve array level to support inference of T is int array when T is... Okay. Only strip away if we're assigning to a plain T. I don't think this is gonna work. So if we're generic and we don't have any arrays, so we're just a T, and we're implicitly casting, and the array count is greater than 0, no, this is just not what I want though. Yeah, that's a lot better. I mean, look, it's the exact same as I wrote, just for some reason different. I don't understand the difference here. If we aren't explicit and we're generic, and the array count of the generic is equal to what we're assigning to be +1. Ah, that's all they did. Okay. The only thing they changed was +1 because it kind of makes sense. But what about +2? I mean, param is T array, arg is int array. Wait, what? Okay, seems to work. Seems to work. So, I get a seg fault here, but as you can see, this should become int array and this should become int array array, therefore causing an error, but it doesn't. As you can see, it doesn't change. Okay, maybe I should tell it how I... I'll just give it my entire call parse function. See what it does. I'm kind of curious. Oh my lord, I'm actually losing my mind right now. I can't believe I just can't fix this one tiny little error. Like, seriously. Oh my goodness. Let's go back to 1024. Okay, so the problem is... Well, we should be doing... Instead of generic type, we should be doing tinfo dot assign type of that. And then we can equal that to tinfo. And then all we have to do is check if it equals tinfo. That's the only thing we need to do, I think. But does this type verify have to go up here is my question. I think so. I think that is how we fix it. Um, okay, so actually we can just do this. No, actually no. Okay, so now the error occurs in the first parameter. Evaluated type of int array can't convert to type of int. So we just did t question mark assign int array question mark. That's what we just did. Okay. So that's true, and that's true. No, ChatGPT is wrong. Yeah, it should only be this. I believe. Yeah, the compile time is very slow here. I don't know why. I think what I need to do is go down to CMake and... Oh no, I do dash pipe. Strange. Strange. Okay, so we're back to where we started. hold on. When inferring T from T array. Okay, so if the array count's equal, so obviously that didn't work here, and the array counts get plus equaled. We insert all of the array flags. Okay. But again, oh my god, I'm gonna lose my mind. Oh wait. So type in for results is 1 1. Okay. And then tinfo is now an optional int array. Okay, so that's actually bad. So if we're optional, and we're assigning to, so then our optional should be false, and then so t question mark converts to an int array question mark. The question mark then needs to be the t question mark. Then obviously needs to, the question mark needs to be removed and pushed to the final layer of array. So if our array count, first of all, is not 0, after all that, then optional is false, and array flags dot back dot first is true. But what about T question mark arrays converting to an int array question mark? That's fine. That's allowed. If we're question mark here, that's not allowed. So this won't be allowed. But if the type is finally optional, okay, so this should only apply to what if it's that? Just a lonely int. And type infer result is an int array. So let's see. We're working on this function with t array and int array. So t array becomes int array. So whatever explicit is. Hey man, how's it going? Okay, so clearly the logic here, to be honest, the nice quick fix is to just the nice quick fix is to change this false from not explicit to whether or not the type exists. So if we've assigned the type already, explicit should be true. So this should be not, okay, I'm Hail Marying here. Sergeant Reaper, you're in the Discord, right? Hey man, how you doing? I think you are. Whoa. My Discord just crashed. Hello? I'm still here. I don't know what happened to Discord. So what I'm working on right now is I'm trying to get the type system to finally work. There's just one final problem with the type system, and it's to do with implicit casting or implicit conversions with generic types. Once that's done, okay, there's Discord open again. For some reason it just crashed. And once that's done, I will be moving on to implementing good things. But yeah, good things like macros, Minecraft macros. I don't know if you've heard of them, but they're going to be very, very useful in terms of, well, making like more dynamic programming, you know, things that, like, for example, the language doesn't support accessing arrays at, it supports it at constants, but not at variable indices. So you'll have to use array at for that, and it will use macros for you. So I'll have to do that. Hey, Jesus Christ, it finally works. Oh my God. Oh my God. Hey, look, this is probably gonna break everywhere else, but that's good. So now if I wrap this in an array, that's fine, because we've passed in int array, and that's an array of int. So this is int array array. Oh, really? This doesn't work? Evaluated type of int array cannot convert to expected type of unknown array. So the unknown, so that's from this type verify. So we can actually move this into here. And we can just put an else here. That's, oh, that's clean. That's really clean. Okay. Okay, it's looking up. It's looking up. I think that's the problem. Now I should get the seg fault from earlier, and we have to fix that. And then I'll probably call it a day and work on it when I come home. Because I am starving. But yeah, how you been, man? I'm not sure. Are you still in the chat? You understand what's going on? I can anything you're confused about or you want me to explain, I can explain. But I'm kind of in the zone right now. And by the zone, I mean trying to fix an error for 50 minutes. You know. Yeah. uh, to be honest, I think I could merge these. I'll put a comment here. To do possibly could merge these ifs. Okay. Let's run. No, it doesn't seem to work. Value type of int array cannot convert to expected type of unknown array. So the unknown stand like it just means generic. So like int array can't convert to t array. Hmm. Because I think these if statements look quite similar, but what is the problem here? So I think the problem is actually in type verify itself. Because as you can see, the type that we have here without the list is int array and int array array. But once I pass in a list constant, this should become an array of int arrays. Okay, so two-dimensional int array. And then if we go into type verify, which makes sure that the array is actually equal, we can go down to a list, as you can see, a red script list. And if the array count is 0, no, doesn't work. So, didn't go here. Then we get the element type of t, which is going to be an int array. And for all the things inside, we're going to... Okay, so let's just debug this, I guess. Let's just debug this. New debugger. Break parser PP496. The examples, generics, red scripts. Okay, so I was correct. It's coming from here. The element type is just an int. Which is weird, because what's t? T is an int array. As you can see, type ID int and array count 1, so int array. I just want to go to backtrace here and take a look at where we are. Huh? We're in var parse? How the hell are we in var parse? Oh. It's a problem above here. Oh no, sorry. Okay, we're in the wrong place here. What about the backtrace here? Okay, no backtrace, no. That's just completely different to the file. Okay, here. So we're calling from this function call here, which should be fine. Oh, shit. Okay, wasn't fine. Okay. Ah, here we go. Look, array count of 2. And it's generic. It's not generic, but it has an array count of 2. That's the problem, I think. So the type ID is 1, so we have an int array, and we're cross-referencing that with EL type, which is a -1. -1. Did I remove something in sign type? Type ID right here. Look, type ID is equal to t.type ID. But type ID is t.type ID. How could it ever be -1? If we're assigning to a generic type, is it? But if we're assigning to a generic type, it would maintain its genericy. Makes no sense. This makes no sense at all. Let's go back to here. So we have our type. We assign the type. Wait. It's probably something to do with the element type. Could it be? Where's that function? Where's the function? Generic. No. Yeah, I think this is definitely the problem because we're passing an optional and strict right here. Because imagine if we're getting the element type of an int array optional. We're gonna say the element type is an int optional? No, 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 no. Wait. No, 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 no. This is optional, and this is reference. Okay. Don't think that'll fix anything though. Because remember, we have that type ID of -1. Oh. Was it calling element type and... Well, you know what? Let's see if this fixes it, and we'll go back to the drawing board if it doesn't. It goes to show how difficult the language is to make, or at least how badly I've screwed it up. I mean, these such minor bugs are so difficult to solve. You know, like it's same error. Okay, so that wasn't the problem. We're getting a type info of -1, type ID of -1. But like, if I pass in this, yeah, it works fine. But if I obviously didn't pass that in, we get the correct error. So it all works when you explicitly pass the type in. But it says evaluated type of int array cannot be converted to expected type of unknown. So the type ID was genuinely -1 and it wasn't generic. That to me is crazy. It wasn't generic. Just makes no sense. Okay, let's just go back to the drawing board. I want to break at parser 1027. I want to print the generic types that we have. So the first one we have is an int array. So you can literally see right there. Oh, I don't know. I can swim from 0 to -1 and lost its generics on this exact line. Wait, what? Oh, well, there you go. The problem is in type infer to do with list element type parent type. So parent type is array count plus 1. So when I terminate CMake, it doesn't like it. Okay. Note to self. We'll not do that. We'll not do that. Pretty sure RBC value is defined. Don't know what you're on about. Hmm. Hopefully this is the last time I have to go into GNU Debugger today. fuck's sake, why doesn't this work? Because that's an int array. T is an int array, so this is an array of int arrays, so this should be fine being put in. This should be just fine. But it's saying now that the array count is 3. The parameter type used to be array count of 1, then as soon as it went into type infer, went to array count of 3. Int array, and it became an explicit assignment, not an implicit assignment. So should I just go back? Should I just... Should I get rid of this? It should always be an implicit assignment, you know, like... Okay guys, I'm gonna call it here. Honestly, I need to go get something to eat. But I will be back on hopefully tomorrow around the same time for a few hours. But if you can tune in then, that'd be... I'd love to see you there. Like, basically what I'm doing right now is I'm squashing bugs. And I have been for the past 2 weeks. And there's just a few more to do before I can finally work on the video and work on everything else associated with bringing this associated with bringing this to its final rendition, you know. Okay, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching.